All righty. Hello. This is Brian from Be Ready Today. Thank you guys so much for joining this live chat. Uh, this is a awesome way of showing support. Thank you so much for joining on. Cooper Family Homestead, thank you. Second Star Survival, thank you. My brother from another mother, Tyler Woods. Let's thank you very much. And Cooper Homestead, Cooper Family Homestead, I really appreciate you joining on. And Lupus and Color, Miss Dozier, and my wife Saw. And now, without further ado, I'm gonna bring my older brother on this chat here. I have known him for several years when he was entertaining millions on the Harlem Globetrotters as showbiz. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him in here. Here is Matthew Showbiz Jackson.
Hey, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm blessed, man. Just happy to be here, man. Happy to be a part of what you're doing, man. So proud to see you, man. It's been a while. Man, nothing but love for you. You know what I mean?
It's so wonderful to have you. Let me ask the subscribers, does everyone see? Can everyone see what's going on? Just give me a head nod on the comments. Boy, there's a long delay. Okay, brother. Thank you so much for joining and this opportunity to just share with myself and because you and I talk, it's been a while. You and I talk, but just thank you very much for taking time out to go ahead and actually do this, man. So yeah, I tell you. So for the viewers out there, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know who you are, what you've been doing over the course of your something years.
Well, I'm Matthew Jackson, aka Showbiz. I'm known for trotting with the Globetrotters for over 20 years. Blessed, was born in Savannah. Went to Beach High School, left Beach High School, went to Savannah State University, where I then left there, joined the Air Force for a brief stint. But that wasn't my passion. My passion was always sports. So I had to leave the Air Force and just follow my true calling, which was basketball. I always knew that I had a calling in my life, which, just because I was a class clown growing up. That's basically what I was, and I knew that God had blessed me with certain talents and it shouldn't be kept in a bottle.
That's right.
And as youngsters, we don't find out what that is until later on in life. I mean, we go through trials and tribulations and we experiment and we do different things that, is not what we're supposed to do, but all of us have been there and done that and gotten to the
Oh yeah.
And I was just blessed and fortunate enough to get involved with the Harlem Globetrotters since I came out of the Air Force, and it's been a blessing for 20 years. I was able to reach the world beyond my wildest dream. Did some traveling I never thought I would be able to do.
Yeah.
And what better job can you have than to spread joy, give laughter, and get paid to do it at the same time while traveling free?
Absolutely. When I was younger, I used to watch you guys on TV,
Right.
and it was just phenomenal. And back then we didn't have instant TV and instant. So back then I have to wait and find out from the TV guide. Oh, when did the Harlem Globetrotters play?
Right. I mean, it was like the first time I seen the Harlem Globetrotters, I was 7 years old, and my grandfather took me to the Civic Center in Savannah to see these guys play. And I remember telling my grandmother after I left that show, that was what I wanted to do.
Wow.
At 7. And it was amazing how God sees your dream and your vision.
Yeah.
And bring it into fruition.
Wow.
And the thing that hurt me the most, and I give God all the praise for what I have done and was able to do.
Yeah.
My grandmother's favorite team was the Harlem Globetrotters. And the year before I made the team, she died.
Oh my goodness.
So
I've never known that.
yeah, the year I made the team, man, she passed away, and I carried that with me to camp because when I left Savannah, I was like, "There's no way I'm coming back."
Mm.
This was her passion. This was her dream for me. So, I'll tell any kid right now, if you got a dream, stick to it. Because the only thing standing between you and your dream is you.
Wow.
And you can do anything you want to do as long as you set goals and follow the right guidelines and do what you're supposed to do. I mean, the world the world don't owe you nothing. It's up to you to go out and pursue your dream, your passion, and make it real.
Yeah. And it's really something because when before I knew you, and before I got really close to you and your wife. But by the way, folks, I met Matt through my wife. She and her husband. I'm sorry. She and Matt's wife grew up, known each other in Savannah since they were running around and children. And so that's how I met Matt many, many years ago.
Right.
And it's awesome, and this it's a matter of knowing that people of your stature are just people.
Right.
It's I mean, you put on phenomenal shows. I have seen you hit that over the back half court, nothing but net.
It's amazing, man, because I tell some of the guys today, even the guys that played in the NBA today, they only play like 92 games. We played over 300 games a year, and that means being from your family from 9 months to 10 months out of the year.
Gracious.
And my greatest passion, we didn't get the millions of dollars the NBA got, but we got millions of smiles. We were able to go into a city and for 2 hours take whatever's on your mind. You might have had a crappy day or whatever, but when you see the Harlem Globetrotter and you heard Sweet Georgia Brown, your eyes lit up. For 2 hours, you was going to be entertained. Yeah. And it took that burden off you for them 2 hours so you can enjoy life.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about,
Yeah, that's awesome, and like being away from your family. Because I remember the games I've seen you were doing two, in one day, and each show was different. Each game was different, but being away from your family, that's a survival story in and of itself.
It's rough, man.
How did you deal with that?
I mean, I dealt with it. Early on in my career, I didn't deal with it well. I'm just going to be totally honest. Because I was just a young guy out there, I saw the fame, I saw the fortune, and you tend to get caught up in the limelight, like most young guys do.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it seriously. I'm talking about my family life seriously because I was out there doing my own thing. My family was back there holding it down.
Yeah.
I was making money supporting them, but it wasn't the support that they needed.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's a difference. I'm out there, I'm on the road, and like I said, the road is a double-edged sword. It got its ups and it got its downs, and you got pitfalls and you got traps out there. And unfortunately, I fell into a couple of them. But by the grace of God, I was able to bounce back and come back to reality and get back to my roots, which was a God who without Him, none of this would be possible. And was helped me to come back and just save my family because at one point my family was at risk. So, through the blessing of God, man, He's awesome, man.
Yes, He is.
I tell anybody, man, when you're going through something that you may not understand, but God has an ultimate purpose on the other side. You're going through these things, and it's a lesson in everything you're going through.
That's right.
The key is, are you going to learn that lesson?
Yeah.
If you learn that lesson and apply it to your life, you'll be all right.
That's that is so true.
Yeah.
And I've learned just seeing you and knowing you and watching some of the things that you and your wife has went through. I'm not going to say her name because she's like Sandra. She's back to say, "Oh, I just said my wife's name."
Yeah, no,
but it's like
it's in my book.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything got, you know, so
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
I was going to ask you about that book. Well,
yeah,
first of all, there's something, and I remember when you first contributed to this book called Soul Bearer.
right.
And years ago, and it's told it just you just poured in that thing. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I had to, man, because it was a friend of my wife that she's a known, writer,
Mhm.
and she just brought this idea to my wife. She said, "Well, I'm starting this project. I want to get a couple of men involved in it." She said, "Would your husband be willing to, tell his story?" And I talked to her, and she said it was about just 9 men just bearing their souls.
Yeah,
And she asked me, she said, "Well, what chapter would you want to write about?"
I'm going to
And I
say,
was just brutally honest. And I told her, I said, "Well, I want to write on the book of alcoholism
out.
because alcohol was so prevalent in my upbringing. You
Mhm.
know, I was raised by my grandmother and my grandfather, but I had an aunt and an uncle that lived in the same house. So I had holiness on one side and
Mm.
I had hell on the other.
Good
So
gracious.
as a young man growing up, seeing your aunt and your uncle indulging in alcohol daily, I'm thinking in my mind, this is normal. So when I got to high school and college and I started drinking, and I was reflecting back to what they used to do, and I thought that was just a normal way to just deal with problems, not knowing that they had a problem. You know
My
what I mean? Back then there was no AA for them. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
when they got sick, they either had a seizure or they fell out. And my household was comical in a sense, but it was sad in a sense.
yeah.
Because my grandfather was the kind of man that had structure, always was disciplined.
Hmm.
But he had his other two kids over there were just going against the grain,
Yeah,
and I was caught there in the middle. So
yeah.
I had to balance good and evil in that household.
Great goodness.
And the
Great.
only thing that really saved me, uh, Pajel, that made me focus on, just the good positive thing. Because, I tell kids all the time, you see Michael Jordan, LeBron James, you
Mhm.
want to make them your heroes. My hero was my grandmother.
Good gracious.
There
Yes.
was nothing in this world that I would do. And excuse me if I'm getting emotional because that's just me.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right, loved one.
And it was nothing that I would do to make her shame
Mm.
or to hurt her or to tarnish her name.
Yeah.
And that's what kept me away from drugs, kept me away from gangs,
Yeah.
kept me on the right path.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do anything to let those people down because I know they were there for me. My father
Yeah.
went to prison when I was 8 years old.
Oh
They
my.
were the one that molded me and made me the man that I am today. So, you can have idols out there, but you know, your heroes are the people who raised you, the people who know you, you know, those
Yeah.
are the people that care about you.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan has never been to my house. I don't know nothing about this man's history, and I'm quite sure he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know me intimately. He doesn't know me personally.
Yeah.
The people that raised me, that put a stamp on my future, is the one that I hold high, and it's up to me to carry on their legacy. So that's what I try to do the best of my ability, bro.
But you know that, Matt, that is so true, and it goes, and it just goes to survival. This is the way, being taught how to survive. I mean, your situation, just like my situation, or a lot of people that are looking at this situation, could have easily folded and went into a situation that took them out to the point where they weren't able to survive. You
Right.
know, and,
And the thing about it is, if you're trying to be perfect, stop it.
mm,
There's
uh,
only there's only one man I know in the history that's ever been perfect. That's our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Now
mm.
he set the bar. He set the bar. That's what we're trying to do.
That's right.
That's what we try to do each day. But
Yeah.
because we was born in sin, we gonna fall.
Yeah.
But that's when we get back to our roots. We get back to God, and like I say, He's gonna forgive us because we was born in sin. But that don't mean you need to go out there and sin.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You can try to live your life as perfectly as you can, but you can have an idle thought in your mind. You sin. You sin. So we got to constantly do a daily check of ourselves in our lives to try to get right with God, because tomorrow's not promised to me, it's not promised to you, nobody, so
that's right.
Since I've been off the road with the Globetrotters, I've gotten more closer to God, I've gotten more closer to my family, my kids, because when you're traveling on the road for 20 years like I do, I missed a lot. And the blessing of me retiring, I was able to nurture our youngest son, Miles, who's now at UCLA. You see me represent.
I see your merch.
I'm so proud of him, man. I mean, this kid has literally done everything right, and it's because that I was here, hands-on, to just show him the right way.
Yeah, and I tell you about Miles. I tell folks that don't know this, Matt came to my city one day. I'm gonna say it. And so, we went ahead and watched both games, and then we went up to the hotel. And Miles, how old was Miles back then?
Miles might have been about 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
And Miles was just like his daddy, just, a clown prince. And so Miles, like I say, he was 4 or 5. It's like Matt would tell him do something. He said, "Man, give me 5." This kid at 4 was slap 5 on my hand to the point where literally it felt like metal. It's like, what is this kid eating?
Yeah,
and you see him now. He is a monster.
Yeah,
and
he's a beast.
Smart, and he has his stuff together.
Yeah, man. That's right.
How does this? But with everything that we're talking about is like in retrospect to the point where now it's today.
Right.
Being ready today is most important, because we can go back, but we can't. We can revisit, but we can't change it. How be ready today?
I mean, I look at life like this here. I look at life like you driving in a car. You got a rearview mirror. That rearview mirror is to let you know about your past.
Yeah.
It don't mean that you should stay there, but it's a reminder of what you've done. And when you look at that big mirror in your car, it's telling you where your future is. That mirror is telling you the mistakes that you've done. This mirror is a whole opportunity. That big window is showing your opportunities, what you can achieve if you leave what you did in the past alone.
That's right.
So I tell my son all the time, you surround yourself with good people. You surround yourself with people that's, close to God.
Yeah.
God-fearing. You're going to be all right. You already know right from wrong. So I don't have to hover over you. You know what I mean? All of us, when we came up, like I told him, you talked about this the other day. It would be hard for me to see a lady coming out of a store or going into a store without me opening up that door for her.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that's just the way we was brought up.
That's right.
You know what I mean? I mean, respect. You respect your elders. In today's society, what's wrong now? There's no fathers in the home.
That's right.
Mothers do the best they can, but
right.
They still need a male figure. You can raise a kid, mothers can raise a kid, but you can't teach them how to be a man. They need a male figure in there, whether it's an uncle, brother, cousin, somebody need to take hold to our youth today and just let them know you are important.
That's right.
Forget what the statistics say.
Yeah.
You are important.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get no respect unless you respect yourself.
That's right.
If you come into a job with your pants hanging halfway down, come on, I wouldn't hire you.
Be real.
And you can be kidding to me, I'm not going to hire you.
Yeah. And it's something, about that, and so, we have people watching, and if anyone has any questions, go ahead and throw them in the comments and and Matt will sure enough answer them.
Be
You
glad.
know, so it's so going forward. What are you doing in terms of telling your story?
Well, right now I'm working on my second book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost finished with it, and this book is all about my journey.
Ah,
I mean, it's about my journey from Savannah, Georgia, all the way through the Globetrotter, the ups and downs,
yeah,
uh, up until now, where I'm currently living in Decatur, Georgia, with my wife and my son. Well, he's going to college now, but he's home because of coronavirus.
yeah,
But
and eating you out of house and home.
a house and home. But it tells the book is unique, and I wanted to be forthcoming and truthful
Yeah,
because I grew up with a lot of people that knew me but really don't know me.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So when you look at me with the Globetrotters playing 20 years with the Globetrotters, you look at all the glamour, but you don't look at the toil, the turn, the
right.
sacrifices that I had to make along the journey, and
Yeah.
plus the mistakes that I made during my marriage while I was doing that journey. I lost a lot of people in my life, man,
Yeah.
during the 20 years. I'll be overseas in Europe or something, and then my aunts and uncles, they grew up like my mom and dad to me.
Yeah.
And I've lost 3 people in 1 year. I was in Europe,
Wow.
couldn't make it back to their funeral. So and then that's when I talk about the alcoholism.
Yeah.
Because what I grew up watching was a way for me to cope with death. And it was almost to the brink where I was almost becoming an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I had to just wake up and say, man, look, man, you got a family, you got kids, I got 3 sons,
Mm-hmm.
3 daughters. Your sons are looking at you for an example. So I had to look myself in the mirror and look at them, because when I came home, I only be home like 2 weeks or a month at a time.
Yeah.
And half the time I didn't spend with them back in the early days because I was out partying. When I came home, everybody knew I was coming home, so we threw a party.
Yeah.
There was more alcohol, and not knowing that I was neglecting my children.
Wow. But
And
like you had a really, illustrious career. Someone's asking, actually, this is my sister, my blood sister, Lucas Keller. She's asking, what was your proudest moment as a Globetrotter?
my proudest moment was making the team, because when I left Savannah, and Savannah is really, it's small. There's not many opportunities for a young kid at that time when I was coming through.
Right.
Either you was going into the military, you was going to college,
Yep.
or you was going to get a job.
Yeah.
And for somebody to come out of Savannah and make it to the pros was really big. And my motivation was, like I told you, my grandmother, when she died, I was focused. I mean, man, I was laser focused. It was nothing that I wouldn't care if Michael Jordan was in that camp. He wasn't going to deny me getting that job, because I sold my car.
Yeah, boy.
And it's funny, because you got to understand, when you got a dream and you got a passion for something, other people are not going to believe in your passion and your dream. I had family members that didn't even want to support me. I had family members. All I needed was $75 to get a passport if I made the team.
Wow.
To go overseas. And I didn't have a job. I'm going around this family member, this family. I just need $75.
Yeah.
No one in my family would support me with $75. I had to end up selling my car, because that was it. I was like, hey, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, but
sold my car, got the money to get a passport, went to camp, and there was no turning back.
Wow, that's awesome. And Matt from Second Star Survival asked, what was the most trying time for you in your career, and that made you ask yourself, can you continue this? And you told us so beautifully, and it's inspiring.
It's like I think it's about my 3rd year with the Harlem Globetrotters. That before the Berlin Wall was torn down. And we went behind the Berlin Wall, and these people have never seen the outside of the wall. They didn't know another world even existed outside of that world, that wall. So when we came through there, this is the first time they had an opportunity to see African Americans. And they were looking at us like we came from Mars.
Yeah.
You know? And we put on the show, and they were just hesitant about clapping. I knew we had a good show, but
yeah,
that was just their society. It was just like they didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
Then going back 2 years later, after they had done torn the wall down, we went back over there 2 years later. They had a McDonald's. They had a Kentucky Fried Chicken. And when we went in there, they was standing up applauding us, and man, that was just it, man. And I was like, you know, even the things that we have in the United States, we take for granted. You know,
freedom, we do.
Just our freedoms. You know, just the simple little things.
Yeah.
This country didn't even have that.
Yeah.
And for us, it makes you appreciate what you got at home.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people all the time, you might be going through something, you might be going through a bad time, but there's always somebody that's going through something worse than you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I had a guy that asked me sometimes, say, well, look here, I need a pair of shoes. Okay, well, this guy over here ain't got no feet. So, you know, you got to look at life differently. You know what I mean? When you go through trials and tribulation, it's to make you stronger for what God has prepared you for next.
Yeah, and
it's not something that he's punishing you for. It's nothing like that.
Yeah, you know? And it's something, you know, because when people go through things, they need an outlet.
Yeah,
you know, and I remember the things, you know, the death of my parents, and watching you, and you know, it brings back so many memories. And Tyler Wood, Bushcraft, just said that he remembered back in the day when he and his grandmother watched the Globetrotters.
Yeah,
and it brings some memories, you know. And you had brought so much joy, and it wasn't that you were just a member of the team. You were the clown prince, you know, up there with Metallock and God bless his soul, Curly Neal, you know.
Man, let me tell you something. It was an honor, man, you know, because when you put on that red, white, and blue uniform, there's only so many people that have done it.
Yes, that's
so
right.
So you gotta look at the people who paved the way for you. When the Harlem Globetrotter started, they used to tour in a Cadillac. They didn't even have a bus. When they started, they couldn't get in the restaurants. Certain restaurants wouldn't allow blacks in it. So, you know, these guys went through tough things to make it possible for me to be a part of something so significant in history, you know. And like I say, I'm from Savannah. I got three other players from Savannah. Bruce Capers, Tyrone Brown, Gator Rivers.
Wow.
Gator Rivers was the first one to join the Harlem Globetrotters from Savannah. So he opened up the doors for us to be a part of this.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can't take that lightly, man. I mean,
that's right.
It's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to do it for 20 years. And I know I brought a lot of smiles to a lot of people. But, you know, that's what I still try to do today, even though I'm retired. You know, you see my post sometime. I just get on there and I act silly.
Guys, if you when you get a chance, go to Matt Jackson Jr. Facebook. Yeah.
Well, I try to keep it real, man. I try to keep it interesting because, you know, that's just if I could bring that. You know. So I see if
I can post it out there.
Yeah, man. I try to keep it right.
Oh my goodness! It will have you cracking up. Oh, let me see if I can. You guys see if you can go to that post. You know, and you know. So Matt, I tell you, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap this thing up. You know, I know. You know, you can see like Sasa or my wife Sandra commented. You must have some incredible stories traveling. I know we could. Yeah, I've sat in the hotel with you.
They are in the book. They're in the book. The new book is going to be coming out in less than, I'll say, 3 months. and it's
Okay.
going to be called The Journey. And
Yes.
I'm going to be speaking about the rough times. Well, matter of fact, I talk a little bit about now the hard times about being a globetrotter while you're married on the road.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, man, it's a double-edged sword because you're out there, you're in the limelight, and you know you're out there, you're available to everybody out there has access to you, and and it was just the devil in me that made me go out there and do some things that I wasn't supposed to do, and by getting back in touch with God and getting back to my roots, made me humble myself because let me tell you, so humility will bring you down.
Yeah.
The humility will bring you back to where you started because
Yeah.
once you realize it's not about you, you didn't do this on your own. If it wasn't for the God-given talents that God gave you, this wouldn't even be possible.
Yeah.
So I had to rethink my thinking, come back to humbleness, and I asked my wife for forgiveness for million times. Because let me tell you something. For 20 years as a Globetrotter, I would not trade one. I would trade 20 years because I know I got a good God-fearing woman. I got a family that I love. They are priceless compared to what I was getting ready to do and throw away.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're going to end this broadcast. And, once again, my older brother, man, my oldest brother right now. Matt, thank you. This is just a little bit of your story. And, guys, if you don't get a chance, I think I cut and pasted the Soul Bearer where Matt was a contributor. He pours it in this thing. And so if you don't get it, if you get a chance, if you can go ahead and go online to Amazon.com and purchase it, it's going to really, really bless you to see that, as Matt said, these folks are NBA players, they're just people. And I want to share one thing before we leave. Now, people think that Globetrotters, they think that they just play and it's a joke and it's a game, and these guys are world athletes. I have seen them several times really get to playing, and I'm talking, when you're seeing these shots. I've seen Matt get real with basketball. It's people jumping. You see LeBron jumping with his forehead to the rim. I have seen these guys jump with their shoulders at the rim. These guys are real athletes, and so when support Matt's book, Soul Bearer, and be on the lookout for his new book. I guess you can't tell the title, can you?
Well, I'm not
gonna pressure you.
I'm not gonna tell it down, but I tell you what, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do this again when I release it, and we'll be back and we'll talk about it.
Okay, we will. Okay, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you. God bless, and we'll go ahead and see you on the next round. Take care. God bless.
God bless.